In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the strut bumper and boot located on your driver's side strut. It will be in this area right here in the driver's side wheel well. The process for this will be the same for the passenger side. I'm going to get remove our center cap here. Just going to pop in through this little notch right here. Get behind there and pop that off. I'm going to use a 21mm socket. I'm going to loosen and remove our lug nuts. Once we have our lug nuts loose, go ahead and grab the wheel, slide it off, and set it aside. Using a 19mm deep socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove this upper nut. Let's go ahead and remove the lower bolt for our strut here. It is a 18mm bolt head and a 21mm deep socket on the back side. Underneath the hood, you want to go ahead and locate your strut tower cover. We're going to use our trim tool here. Just going to get underneath, pop this cover up and off. We're going to use our 13mm deep socket. We're going to go ahead and loosen and remove these 3 nuts. Once you loosen and remove this nut, the strut will want to drop down. So I'm going to reach through the wheel well area. I'm going to hold the strut while I remove this nut. Using a pry bar, going through the top hole in the upper portion of your control arm. I'm going to go ahead and flex the suspension down. It's going to allow us to go ahead and take the strut, bring it out to the back, and drop it out. Grab that strut and lower that down and out. Now before we go ahead and disassemble our unit here, I want to pay attention to the placement of our upper bearing plate or upper bushing plate right here. We are in a triangle here, but this space here is a lot closer than this distance here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this here in line with our coil spring. We want to make sure that when we install the new upper bearing or bushing here, that our stud lines up with the spring here, as well as down below our spring with our strut. On the bottom portion of our strut, we have the mounting point on the back side here. So this is directly on the other side of our marking point. Let's go ahead and compress our spring and disassemble our unit. We're going to use our 18mm socket to go ahead and loosen and remove this upper nut. When that happens, the shock unit will want to go ahead and drop out. So you want to be prepared for that. I'm going to go ahead and remove our strut bumper and boot. We want to go ahead and take our pad right here. Now this is the lower insulator pad. We want to pay attention to the position of this in relationship to our bolting bracket right here. So this is just off to that side here. Let's lift that up. Remove this. We want to take our new shock unit, and it has a retainer on the top. What we're going to simply do, push down on this. Take our insulator pad, slide that down, drop it into place. And make sure this is offset just a little bit from our mounting bracket. Installing your boot here, you want the wide banded section facing upward. Slide this down, work that over that like so. Take your bumper, drop that down like so. Again, install our shock unit up into place. I'm going to get that nut and washer installed on the top here. At this point here, we have our upper bearing or bushing plate lined up here with the mark we put on our spring. We have our lower insulator pad lined up with the pigtail on our spring here. Go ahead and tighten down this nut. With the upper nut tight and all of our markings lined up, let's go ahead and release the spring tension here. I'm going to make sure that the pigtail of the spring lines up on both upper and lower insulator pad. Let's go ahead and remove our unit from the spring tool. What we're going to do is go ahead and feed our strut up into place. We're going to get these studs up into the engine compartment there. And once those pop through, we're going to reach one arm over and get one of those nuts installed. Now that those nuts are on enough to hold that, we can go ahead and let go with the strut, and we'll continue to work on it from underneath. Then we're going to go ahead and use our pry bar through our upper control arm. We're going to pull down our suspension and push our strut over the lower control arm. Let's go ahead and line that up. Tap our bolt through, and then we're going to go ahead and install our nut on the other side. Install our washer, and we'll get our nut spun on here. Now what we're going to do is you're going to use your jack. I'm going to use my polo jack here underneath our suspension. I'm going to go ahead and compress this up just to the point where the vehicle starts coming off of our support. And what we're doing here is we're compressing our suspension upward, and then we'll go ahead and torque down the strut bolt here. Now at this point here, our vehicle is starting to just come off of our lift. We're going to use our wrench here, and we're going to go ahead and torque this down to 128 foot-pounds. Now that we're torqued, let's go ahead and lower our jack. On this side right here, we're going to use an 18mm wrench to hold that in place. And on this side here, we're going to use a 21mm socket to go ahead and tighten that down. Let's go ahead and torque down the nut to 95 foot-pounds here as well. Let's go ahead and snug down these upper strut nuts. Now we're going to go ahead and torque those down to 20 foot-pounds. With those all tight, we're going to install our strut cap here. The two closer studs right here, and then the one further away. So that will line up. Once we get our wheel installed, now you want to go ahead and bring the vehicle down and get an alignment performed. Go ahead and grab your wheel. Set that on. Let's go ahead and get our lug nuts all started by hand, and then we'll go ahead and snug those down. Let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 110 foot-pounds. Now go ahead and put on your center cap. Just line that up. Pop that on, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.